can talk about it. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. You can talk about it. You can talk about it. You can talk about
it. Yo, welcome to the Backroom Speaks podcast, the brave space for creatives. I'm Law, I think. I'm not really sure what Lisa's doing, but this is Lysa.
I'm a brand ambassador for Kanye.
This was one of the greatest albums of all time. Definitely, probably the greatest hip hop album in the last 20 years, for sure. But yeah, it's episode 6. 6, yeah, put that over. Carpetona Lysa. It's episode 6, bro. Sorry.
You know,
she had that brace on last week. It was
the
pretty,
Lord has delivered.
For those who
it was ugly. If you have carpal tunnel, if you know anything about carpal tunnel, you know.
Yeah, she had carpet tunnel. Carpet. How do you spell carpet tunnel?
The Backroom Speaks podcast is still looking for a brand new co-host to replace Hot Take Larry.
Okay.
Not my Bose home theater system. Nothing can replace Aunt Sally.
People are gonna catch on to that.
Hopefully,
soon.
they gonna catch the wave. Hopefully, even though nothing can replace Aunt Sally, hopefully somebody can replace Lawrence. And so if you are very interested in joining the team at the Backroom Speaks podcast, please email me at backroomspeakspod@gmail.com.
All right, let's start this thing over. West Side, yeah, in the back room of the back room. Oh, Lord.
Or you can email me directly at Elisa@backroomspeakspod.com.
All right, we starting this thing. Welcome to the West Side.
In the back room of the back room.
All right.
Jesus Christ, where's Dominique?
Lisa's done with that. Yo, it's 6 episode. Episode 5 was fire.
And I hope y'all watched it.
Please go back and watch it.
I've actually watched it like twice.
Go to backroomspeakspod.com. It's up. It's up there. Backroomspeaks.com. Backroomspeakspod.com.
Get a hold of the
right.
worldly stuff.
Jesus says, my hands are up and they're still.
Right. Jesus, come give me some.
Oh gosh, I hate the church sometimes. I really do. That's one thing the church really needs to stop doing is stop remixing
the worldly songs.
The worldly songs.
I got him saying worldly. Look at what the Lord is doing.
You know, I got PTSD from that because when, back when, we're in Chicago. So our local gospel station here is 1390. Gospel Radio 1390.
13. Y'all remember that?
That's
Where
so
the ministry
super.
is in the music. There's a message for today and a blessing on the way.
Who sang that? Gospel Radio
1390.
Yo, that is okay, listen. No, I got PTSD because back when they used to do, when they call themselves doing like Christian hip hop and R&B on Friday nights.
Oh, hated it.
And I heard something one time and I was immediately disgusted. It was like, you can find me in the church doing God's work and something that was like, yo.
Let it go.
Y'all should not be doing this. Like, this is why nobody likes, because I actually used to rap like gospel, you know what I'm saying? But I hated all gospel rap.
If you actually
because
back
that's what they were doing.
In 2008, Lawrence dropped Jesus is my... Never mind.
I'm going to put that clip up. That's because Jesus Christ is my nigga. That's what that was a great clip. Anyway, episode 6, bro.
Jesus.
By the way, continue. I'm not going to give this any light. Continue to watch Continue to subscribe. Those who aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, the Backroom Speaks podcast. Continue to, I don't know, like on Facebook, facebook.com/BRSPOD.
Yep.
IG, Backroom Speaks Pod, Twitter,
Backroom Speaks.
Backroom Speaks. Like,
also continue to keep us lifted in prayer. Like, we joke, but for real, we still in the beginning stages of this joint. So if you love us, if you like what you see, if you just, love us separately or collectively concerning this pod, pray for us.
Facts.
We church kids, but like, for real.
We need it, bro.
We need it. I need it, as you can see.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm fine, actually, but this one. We're doing well. Listen, man, what are we talking about today? I actually, this topic, we're giving the creatives the day off.
Yeah.
Kinda, because I mean, creatives go through this too, but we're gonna beat you all over the head about
right.
what us creatives go through.
And we reached a milestone last week, episode 5, which we were excited about as we spoke about. Five. Say that 10 times fast.
I can't.
Please don't. But we reached a milestone. We figured we, clear the air, take a breather. You guys haven't heard much about us since we dropped our bios and our intros. And so we figured we'd take episode 6 to really invite you into the hosts and the creators of the back room.
Oh, I just love that.
Sorry.
I'm regretting this episode already. And so, this episode is actually going to cover the godforsaken origin of our friendship.
Man.
And also friend breakup. So we figured, like, before we get into the very dense topic, we introduce how this thing came to be, or concerning our friendship.
How did it come to be? Actually, I think you tell the story better because I don't know.
I don't really remember. It was a dark and stormy night, but on a hill far. Wait, that's Jesus.
On a hill.
On a hill, there's a cross. Okay. Jesus. Jesus is actually how I met Lawrence. Okay? Lawrence.
What?
It's the truth.
Okay.
I met him because of the Lord, because of aggregations that had gathered in the name, allegedly gathered in the name of the Lord.
So basically, me and Lysa were on a gig together singing, which is actually...
Wait, even before then, though.
Okay.
I used to be part of a dope aggregation that used to exist in the city of Chicago. Hey, come back. What did you need from over there?
Go ahead. Cause you're
aggregation that used to exist in the city of Chicago.
What were they called?
G3 Ministries, G3 God Gets the Glory.
Donald Buster Woods and G3?
Donald Buster Woods and G3.
Oh, you talking about Donald Buster Woods?
Donald Buster Woods,
oh.
Bro. Yeah, man, off the west side. That's actually where I got my start. Shout out to G3 and its alumni, wherever you may be in whatever walks of life you may be on. That's where a lot of dope people in this city. All right. Got our start. I got my start there, and I met a gentleman that thought I was a white woman by the name of now Pastor Alonzo Dion Berry, wherever he may be now in the city of Chicago, and befriended him. I was his little sister, and I followed him wherever he went. And in following him wherever he went,
crazy how things change, right?
Mercy. And then following him wherever he went, I actually used to run into Nigga Lawrence, as my family affectionately calls him now. Him and Dot, they all used to roll together heavy years ago. And yeah, when I came into the fold, I was like, all of these niggas and then me. It sucked, but I guess I could keep up with the big dogs. They either says a lot of terrible things about me or maybe good ones. I'm really trying to figure that out even now in 2021.
Yeah, man.
But that was like the first sighting of meeting Law and stuff like that. And then one day one summer, I guess, I came back from the schoolhouse. I was away at school. This had to be like 2012, maybe.
I don't know.
It was a long time ago. And one thing about Alonzo, he had the gift of pulling people together despite whatever godforsaken circumstance it was.
And people that shouldn't be like, because okay, let me take over here, because there were times like if I go back to the way I met Dot, right? Like I've literally known Alonzo since I was in preschool, and the way so we knew each other, we just kind of reconnected, and the way I met Dot was just like, oh, we were like in a subway. He was like, oh, this is Jared. He's gonna be your new brother. And
lo and behold.
And he's been my brother ever since. Probably one of the closest people in the world to me.
Yeah.
But, and that's like one day, randomly, I'm driving a PT.
The PT
Cruiser was terrible. But it got me around. Okay? Yeah. But, and Lonzo's like, oh, and I don't sing, but like, I don't sing like for hire. Like, I'm not the guy to call him a drummer. And he was like, yeah, I want you to sing background. Jared sang background.
Yeah,
Dot sang background before, which is funny. We're going to talk to him about that one day. Yeah, but he calls me to sing background for him, which I don't do. And it was at some place in super far.
Or something like that.
And we all drove. We were trailing each other.
Spanky
in a broke down van.
And I almost died that day. The Lord kept me. The rest of the boys got in the PT Cruiser with nigga Lawrence. We lined up outside of my crib when I was staying.
Yeah.
When I was staying not too far from MacArthur's. Like we were like rounding up, like church people gather up to go to the evening. It was so weird. And we were in two cars, and I rode with Spanky, and the rest of them niggas got in the car with him. And we travailed all the way out there to go sing He's Able in B major with a drummer and whoever was playing organ.
And by the way, we didn't travel with an organist, so like whoever was there playing organ was the person who played for us. It was just all bad. But and then after that, we went to Tony Tidwell's annual joint. And that's when we really got the knack for, this is the person I need to sit by if we want to talk about everybody else.
Yeah, we were terrible people.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Dang. So wait, that was later in the year though. That had to be when I got back. So that was like summertime. So later in the year when I got back, again, I was away at school in undergrad. So wasn't really singing with nobody then. All I had was like, I came home and it was G3, my mom and them, and I went back to school. So if you know anything about like Thanksgiving time, Tony Tidwell programs, the night before Thanksgiving? That was the place to be. That was the place to be every year in the city of Chicago.
And it was always super dope. Shout out to Tony Tidwell.
Shout out to Tony Tidwell and Uncommon Favor. Those are just amazing concerts to be at the night before Thanksgiving. You knew like how your folks put the greens on and they leave out to go and sit in this concert for about 4 or 5 hours. Right. And it was just always fully loaded, always an amazing time, good fellowship, the bands. Niggas went for the bands.
Bands is always crazy.
Yeah. And so in that time, I think Alonzo was always busy moving around. He always had to ad-lib or a tag on somebody's song, which left us in the back being his fake adjutants or just being the entourage, if you will. A very weird entourage, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Oddly built. But, and in the mix of that, we talked crap that entire time. And that's how I knew. I'm like, yeah, this nigga gets it. He understood. And it's literally been that ever since.
Yeah.
So, Alonzo, I blame you for all of the trouble in my life right now. Even this, I am very upset. And I'm trying to heal.
Sheesh, I don't know why. But over all that time, right? So now, if you go back from, way back when, 2011, whatever that was, I think, and then come to now, like, it's like my best friend in the world. But it built, over time, and, it looked a whole lot different from 20 whatever that was to now.
Definitely evolved.
But like, you're like literally the, my best friend in the world. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. But I mean, how do we get there?
I believe that, here I go taking my theological term, I believe that God sends you, the people that you need for every walk in your life, like right when you need it. And I really did not understand why he came about at the time. I didn't know what it was preparing for or anything, because if you know anything about law, he comes with a lot of trouble and ignorance and anger and drumsticks and emotions and libations and Jesus Christ, if that nigga don't eat on a Sunday, help us all. That was a tough time. If that nigga didn't eat on a Sunday, it was just like, he needs to reset. So let's just go find something to eat and we'll head to the rest of our services. We all used to church hop too. We'll get into that. This is kind of a cool episode because I'm really thinking about this. I didn't have a chance to really like unpack this and when we were planning. But
went from church hopping to show hopping.
Like I'm talking about 4-5 services. And then somehow Fridays or something in between.
Fridays,
all
Denny's.
of us meeting up. Denny's, Jesus Christ.
Philly's best.
That is very true. To catching the live R&B sets too. So our Sundays went from like just catching everybody's services, wherever Mizo had to sing at, or if they had to play somewhere, to go into the worldly joints, inebriated. And the Lord just making it. First of all, it wasn't just me, but all of us just making it home. And there was something that was a friendship that was birthed out of that. Just like interests. Having the same, like walking into venues with the same type of ears, looking for the same type of stuff. Same type of
ears, yes.
And that helps. You need somebody that you can connect with on that level. You know what I'm saying?
And to that point. And be very clear, because, and I don't want to offend anyone, but you don't find women or girls or women, because she's a woman, but you don't find people of the female species who,
thanks. I feel
and that's, and maybe a sexist way to view that, because I'm pretty sure there's a ton of women who have an ear probably like mine, or like, that goes to shows to actually listen to the music, because a lot of girls don't do that.
They don't. They go for other stuff. And even more, I appreciate it, on the contrast of that, I appreciated being part of a circle that understood that I came to a place to listen to the music and not fall into any other caliber of a trap, or not to like hook up or like all of that. I never needed any of that to hook up with people. I literally came to those spaces with niggas like them because I knew they'd look out. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Because I knew they would look out. These niggas have looked out. Yeah, because
the hands work. My hands work.
Bro, and it's been times like that this nigga has proved himself to be a friend. Mama, you know these stories. Like, has literally snatched me out of some stuff.
And still.
And even still,
my hands work.
Mercy. You 30, you old. Relax. But seriously, that would just, Jesus help us all. But like, yeah, so being just my boys, my guys have always been that safe space for me where I can go to these places, thoroughly enjoy, and like be in a space that wasn't, sexualized. Let's be clear, because niggas can get weird.
Facts.
That wasn't just made into something else. And so I appreciated that safe space. That turned into a brave space. That turned into a brave space. This is my nigga. I just love that. And so I'm grateful as a woman. Like, if and that's a separate podcast episode that's coming up. Stay tuned for that. It's tough to be a woman that's invested in music, that really loves music, and then to find a community, a safe space that can culture those interests without capitalizing on it, because you know a little bit and you maybe look cute too. I mean, you ain't gotta agree with that, but like legit. So, I'm grateful. And welcome to the Backroom Speaks
Welcome
podcast.
to the Brave Space.
The Brave Space.
Okay, so
Hell.
I mean, I feel like you guys got a bit of an insight or a peek into, how this all started. But like, when you think about your best friends, that you have, whoever they may be, even if it's a family member that you consider your best friend, whatever, like, what happens when there's like issues that arise in those relationships? Because
What happens when your safe space is compromised? You can't get no help.
Yeah, but that's that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, but seriously, because I really don't think that people value
That's good.
platonic friendships like they should,
Absolutely.
right? And I'm different. I'm very different when it comes to that. Like, I often see I'll see a post, and I may be going off the joint a little bit, but I often see this post that people share on socials, and it says something like, "Niggas be worrying more about their friends than their girls," or some crazy, right? I've never been that. I value my relationships crazy and super emotional about my relationships, whether it's my brother, my mother, my friends, my wife. Doesn't matter. Like, all those are the same. Like, not all those are the same, but I value them all the same. That. Like, they're all just as important to me.
Legit.
And they're all are not worth losing. Or I maybe said that wrong, but I can't lose none of them without a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I treat all of them like that. But I don't think that's really common. Actually, I know for a fact that it's not.
It's not.
I wrote a whole album about it.
Yeah, you did. I got cussed out on that album, by the way. Don't nobody want to talk about that.
It's real, but why do you think people don't really, take those as serious?
I think how society sets things up, like how certain relationships aren't. Well, I can't talk. How certain relationships aren't worth preserving unless it's like the intimate ones, and you see like the intimate love, the romantic love, like really pushed and celebrated, but not so much like the brotherly, or not even, or just straight up the friendships. Those aren't celebrated. Those aren't promoted. Those are often looked at a different way.
Yeah, I think that's just a common, maybe, perception.
Sir.
But, like, even though that may be the common way that society looks at it, or, they don't necessarily put it on a pedestal as much, but what about when you really have that issue with that person? Like, how does that... Because even if you don't talk about it, and I think that's really what it is, people, they feel the same way.
Certainly.
I think they feel... I don't think I'm crazy, even though people make me feel like I am. The way I kind of maybe over-obsess about things in any of the relationships I have with people. But I think that feeling is universal.
Yeah.
So we talk about friend breakups, quote unquote.
It's real.
You feel that. You may not talk about it because it may seem weak. Somebody might call you weak.
For lack of better words. There's a better word. I just don't think you
or
would use
it's not that serious or whatever.
But it is.
But you feel that.
I feel like, and I make this joke with him all the time. I recently went through, I guess within the last couple of years, I went through a nasty friend breakup. And I remember just being like super devastated over it. And I told him, I'm like, man, these friend breakups hit harder than the romantic ones almost. Now, like, I ain't had, like, if I could be horribly transparent, like, I haven't had, like, I've been in like some of my relationships that have ended terribly have been pretty terrible, but it was like never like the caliber of devastation that I had over like when a friend violates.
Well, that's because
when your go-to violates, or when you violate your go-to like that.
Yeah,
it's double-sided. So, man, this is rough.
But I mean, can you give an example though? Because like, what does that really look like? And I ask because I feel like, once again, nobody talks about it. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously, we both been through it. We've been through it with each other.
Yeah, straight up. That nigga was trying to leave me out in the middle of the street.
So, I mean, like, it's a real thing that people, you know, really go through, but nobody really talks about it. Like, what does that actually look like, at least from your perspective?
You know, my friends have always been an escape route for me. You know what I'm saying? They've been, you know, like my solace, my escape from my reality. And so when you don't have access to that very thing, that hits different. Mm-hmm. Or the person that like, that's all. I don't want to make this like a God thing, because God is different. He'll never do half the stuff half of these people in the world have done, but like, it's like closer than a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like the next person after your kinfolk, after your spouse, after like that's a different type of hurt. A different type of hurt. Can I talk a little bit?
Go ahead. Cook.
Let's get real quick. I went through a situation that included my boy here that I thought I would never recover from. There was another mutual friend, and there was a situation that violated trust on so many different fronts, on all parts. I got pulled into. That's another thing. Like when you are attached to people, you know, even in friendships, you are ironically attached to other aspects of their lives, and I got wrapped up in some shit, and concerning our mutual friend's personal life, that made me look like I wasn't solid, and in some ways that I wasn't, and Law never failed to remind me that I wasn't solid, and that still to this day we healing, we healing, but my friend was in a spot where stuff just wasn't well. Stuff just wasn't whole. And, you know, the caliber of friendship that we have is we hold shit together until our people get it together.
Facts.
And there's just no other way around it. We cover our people until they get it together. Mm-hmm. There's just no other way around it. We fill in the gap until our people get it together. And I was not that. And I own that. But on another front, it was a very, I don't want to expose like too much. I know this is the back room. I'm gonna talk about it, but like,
back room speaks.
It's the back room speaks.
It's those untouchable conversations.
This is really untouchable. Hopefully my boy don't kill me over this.
He won't.
And my boy was going through a nasty breakup with this girl at the time, and I developed a relationship with the girl, and aided in something that was passively aided. Didn't even realize that I was an accessory to what people would consider murder, or this man would. Or my boy was embarrassed, completely embarrassed, and I was oblivious because, you know, first of all, being objective is a position. Let's be clear. There's a certain time where you just have to pick sides.
That's important.
And I say this as a whole individual. Like, there's a certain time where being objective, where that shit just stops.
What I always say, you gotta draw.
You gotta draw the line in the sand. And I wasn't doing that. You know, sometimes in being, you know, objective, trying to keep everybody happy, somebody gonna fall through the cracks somewhere. Mm-hmm. You can't completely be fair all the time. And in that situation, my objectiveness worked to my demise, a possible demise to a friendship. And in the same case of my homie too, he was being passively objective from a place that I don't even understand. He was a different person then, and I couldn't see that. He told me, "No, I know you meant well because I know you my nigga. Like you didn't." But yeah. So with that, I almost lost a very close friend of mine, and it caused tension here with my boy here. And it's really weird because people don't understand like I understand so much like those people call them cliques, but you never know like why friend groups like just really stick together and hold each other down like they do. And that was one of those things that probably almost devastated our entire unit. Like it was nasty. People not talking, almost ready to fight. I was ready to fight, still ready to fight. I'll catch you in a few months. Said what I said. You might want to edit that out. But
You know, to take that, because I don't want her to say anything incriminating. The thing is, the reason, because the angle that she didn't share, because she couldn't share because it's mine, right? Like, in friend groups, you know, first of all, and we kind of touched on this last week, lightly, but like, hold your niggas accountable, right? And that's so important. Number one, there's a few things she said because she was talking for a while, right? The whole part about, drawing a line in the sand. Actually, there's some cases where you really have to pick sides. Mm-hmm. And with your friends, your real friends, not your, the passersby or the people that you may speak to on any given day. Like your real friends, and you don't have a lot.
That's that part.
Hey, by the way, stop calling everybody your best friend. You're lying.
It reminds me of like those people that get into their tizzies on Facebook. I'm one of those people too. I have one cold rant and I'll be cool for a few weeks. But when they say, I don't got nobody, I don't got no friends. And all these people comment like, oh, you're not talking about me, best friend. Oh, not you. Oh, you're not talking about me, best friend. Oh, not you. No, we cool.
Shut up. Shit. Just shut up. This is why, and niggas who know me, they know exactly who I am. They know how I give it up. They know who my friends are because I'm not running around calling everybody my best friend. Anyway, the thing is, so she said a lot. You gotta pick a side, but hold your people accountable. Where I stepped in this little thing was me coming down on her because I felt like she wasn't solid. And we fought on that, right? But the beauty of all of that is that obviously I was coming from a good place, but it was like, yo, you're wildin'. From my view. That's how it looked. And what I had to tell my friend that you're wildin'. Hey, guess what? There's situations where your friends be wildin' sometimes. Because I know I'm like, nobody's perfect. The problem I have with a lot of you people is that nobody's gonna be the person to come to you and say, hey, yo, you wildin'. So your friendships are trash. A lot of you niggas' friendships are trash. You are letting a lot of stuff go down. You're not addressing anything. That's a problem.
Self-reflection point. Just take a second to think about this. How many people do you have in your life to be that, literally that for you, to hold you accountable, no matter how ugly it is, no matter how much it'll go against the grain or break up the dynamic of things, that are willing to hold you accountable?
You can tell that they don't got that person based on how a lot of these niggas are moving out here. That's just a fact. You can tell by the music they putting out. You can tell by just how they're moving, the moves that they're making, that they don't have somebody real in their corner telling them the real.
Yeah, wise counsel.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a little story. This is a quick, boring story. Right? I said at the top of the episode, like I really take this friendship things very seriously.
Does Jesus?
When I was a kid, I was in preschool.
Oh, this is gonna make me cry.
I was in preschool, right? I had a best friend. Shout out to Mark Cooley. I was in preschool. He was my best friend in the world in preschool. So I'm 5 and 6. Shout out to Tia. God, I don't know her last name now. Her name was Tia Williams Bearden. She was in that class as well. It's Matt Williams' sister.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Matt.
And my best friend Mark was, he was my best friend. It was great. His mom worked at the preschool. So did my mom. And my dad and his mom started dating. And they ended up getting married by the time I was in the 2nd grade. So now my best friend in the world, or what I thought was my best friend in the world, in preschool was now my brother. You know how much that, I don't know how people look at that, but that was the world to me. Like my best friend now is my brother. Like we live together every day. We're going around causing a ruckus in the streets of Evanston. We had to move to Evanston when my dad married his mom. That sucked.
Careful.
Evanston is trash. I'm glad I didn't spend that long in there.
Jesus, Lord.
Evanston is trash. God bless people in Evanston, Illinois. But I'm best friends, and I live with my best friend now. He's my brother. But then my dad and my best friend's mom got separated. And we moved out. And that was the end of that. And that killed me. And I never talked to my pops about this. And I hope he doesn't kill me because he listens. But niggas don't know what that did to me because I already got issues with just relationships with people in general. And that comes from a whole line of things. And this is one of them. Because that's how quick that goes. This person I love, my brother, and immediately because of some other stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with me, friend is gone. Yeah. And God bless that union because I got a little sister out of it. Shout out to my little sister, Courtney. But that's how quick that joint just cut because it's not like I was only in 3rd grade when the divorce happened. So it's not like I was just moving around. I can go see my brother. No, I didn't see that nigga again until we were like 18 or older, actually. I cried over that because it's like people take stuff. I knew back then that you can't take these things for granted. So as I grew up, the littlest things that people would call me crazy because I would, trip over the littlest things. It's like, oh, I'm just like this weird emo nigga. Like, no, I expect my friends to be my friends because I feel like it could be gone like this because I saw it happen.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't really get friends like that. Like niggas, they call everybody their best friend, but a real nigga, you're not gonna get that. Just like that. That doesn't happen. All you people who are, I see people every day post about a best friend. This is my best friend. This is my best friend. Happy birthday to my best friend. And I'm like, you niggas got too many best friends.
Even more, how the hell, like, at least my perception of friendship, best friends, like having a best friend, who would want to have more than one of those? Because if niggas really understood, like, what really came with the job, I can't even handle the one I got. If I could be horribly transparent, like.
But these are the same people that also say like I can't trust people and like I gotta trust.
It says a lot. If you can have that many people that you could just call your best friend, I would imagine that you can just manage so much. It's a different caliber of accountability.
That's why I don't validate.
Even to call people friend, it's a different caliber of accountability.
It's weird.
A lot of these niggas are just your associates, your party buddies. I know I can call this person to go out with a good time, but the real aspects of friendship, what do you do when they ain't level headed, when they money low, when they just need some air, or need to like sort through things, whatever.
Here's the thing, I think that people oftentimes equate friendship with people that you can go and have a good time with, and
that's a part of it.
And here's an example, because actually I don't want to do that.
What was you finna say?
I don't want to do that. Okay, let's say, because both me and Lysa have our separate groups of friends. Some of my friends Lysa have no clue of, and some of Lysa's friends I don't know like that, and they're not necessarily my friends.
Some of his friends I hate. Some of my friends he hates.
No, I don't hate any of Lysa's friends.
I hate some of his.
I hate one of Lysa's friends. The other ones I just don't know enough. I don't know enough to feel any way. Okay? But there, she has a whole other circle. And I have my own other circle. And shout out to her circle. Like I said, there's only one that that could really die at any point. You know who that person is?
I'm trying to do that little friend thing where we like think the same thing. It's not working.
Right?
Turn it on.
But I have friends.
Revelation.
I have friends that I may be able to kick it with, like, oh, there's a part, whatever. Like, we going out to somewhere or whatever. But if I really need a friend to like really spill my ish to, like when I need like some words, like I'm down and all that other simpy stuff, this is the nigga that I'm gonna call. And it's the same with, like, yeah, she can go out and whatever she does with her other friends, they have all these great friend trips and stuff, but I'm him. And it just be like that sometimes. Like, you have those people, you have friends for different things.
That's totally
shout out to all her friends. Shout out to all my friends. And I mean, I don't have that many, but Keith Brooks, Octavia, MJ, Dot. I mean, Kendall.
What's up, K. Will?
Kiki, like, you niggas are like,
it's Kia.
I love you all, but like everybody, you can't. It's impossible to have so many best. Like, it's just not. I don't think it's possible. Not the way these niggas be talking about. They be having like 6 and 7 and 8, and I don't see how you even have the mental or emotional capacity to deal with it, because I know how much I come with as a person. I mean, I joke with my wife a lot, but I'm a lot to deal with. So shout out to my wife, right? Because she gets it all. She gets the stuff that Lysa doesn't get as my friend.
Thank God.
Because that's friend on a whole other level. But it's the same with my friends, though. And my brothers, like Dot and M, like I come with a whole lot. So imagine 6 of me. You would die. Literally, like murder. I would kill you. Like, you couldn't handle that possibly if you really had that friend.
Yeah.
6 times or 5 times or 2. I couldn't handle 2 of me. Honestly.
I can't handle you as yourself right now.
Oh.
Respectfully. I learn something new every day.
It sucks. It sucks. But like, I don't know. Like, how do you take that? Like, as far as like, or why do you not think people? I think we kind of went there already, but like, people just don't take it seriously, or take it as seriously. Like, when? I guess that's a better question. Like, when did it come that for you? Because I feel like anybody who I've talked to, it's never been that for them. Like, they've never felt the same way I did about your friend group. Like, when did that become that for you? 45 minutes in.
45 minutes in. I tell this story all the time where, and I'm the story, my birthday, some years ago. What was that like? I think it was my first birthday back in the city of Chicago. I just moved back from Appleton. And, I was getting my life back in Chicago, you know, getting reacquainted with just life as we know it. And so, rightfully, I gravitated to the people who I knew that was with me in the trenches, leading up to then, which was my actual friend group. Shout out to BFC. And then, Law. It was my birthday, my first birthday back, 2015. And let's just say I really celebrated. I had a lot to I had a lot to celebrate. I just graduated.
How exactly did you celebrate, Lysa?
Please go to hell. It was like I had turned 21 all over again, but I was a few years off of 21. I just say that. I had turned 21 quite a few times before then. And I was, it's the back room. I was incoherent, okay? I was lit like a Christmas tree, all right? I was towed down. And in a situation where I probably should have just like went to bed.
And I could actually put the clip up because I got the videos from.
If you put that clip up,
I'll wait till your birthday.
Do not.
I'll just send it.
Because I cursed you out the 1 year you did, but y'all would have thought I had turned 21, and I was lit, and my friend group was like, "Oh, she'll be fine. Just let her like sleep it off, stay there, whatever." And Law being who he is, super save a nigga, kidnapped me, him and my cousin. Shout out to Ashley LaShawn Hammonds.
Yeah, shout out to her.
She trailed him. They took me home to my mother. Passed out.
Just handed it to her.
Just handed it. Ashley and Law pulled me out of Lawrence's car. I was passed out in the backseat of Lawrence's car, and they handed me over to my mother and my sister, to be carried upstairs to our apartment at the time.
That was great.
And
the videos were better, though. Please
go to hell. But and I use the story for a reason. It wasn't in that moment that I knew Lawrence was solid, but it was in that moment that the people meant most to me knew that he was solid, knew that I was safe with him. You know what I'm saying? My mom, my sister, because he could have been like, "Oh, she'll be good. I'll call her in the morning. She'll be fine." You're like, "No, let me take this nigga to our mama." And my mom told me then, like, you need more people like them. No shade to my other friends, because them niggas, they always look out for me, in whatever capacity. They do what they supposed to do. But it was a turning point for him, because he's super paranoid. He's super, like, he's just that hands-on friend. He took me to my mom's. And my mom knew then. She was like, yeah. She was sure, that this was the type of person. Just a simple gesture like that. Simple. People may look at that as, oh, he bogus for taking to it, but it's stuff like that secured me because I know he'd do this on any front for life, and that was a turning point. That answers your question. For me, for my mama, my sister, them, you know.
Shout out to them.
Go
That
to hell.
That was a funny night for a lot of reasons that I probably won't even talk about.
Friends hated him after that.
For no reason. Like, that's, whatever. It'd be like that sometimes.
I get it.
I don't, but they can talk to me.
All right.
I can. I'm cool with your friends.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Except for one.
331. What's your phone number?
207
All right.
8928.
Is that your phone number for real?
I don't know. They're gonna call somebody.
281-330.
I don't even remember what I said. But no, seriously, shout out to Lisa's friends, except for one.
Oh, Jesus.
You know who you are. She probably don't know who she is.
Well, you just process of elimination. At least we know it's a girl now.
Nah, I'm just joking. But no, seriously. So we talked all that. We're like 51 minutes in. Let's take the last portion of this to kind of talk about, because we kind of talked about going through the quote unquote friend breakup, which I hate that term actually.
Yeah.
Now that I'm hearing it out loud, but when you go through those things with your real friends, like your best friend, whatever you want to call it, like what does the recovery look like? Like, how do you recover?
I think for me, and I'm just speaking to, like my friend breakup, like, the crap with you, Dot. I had another female friend that was very close to me. A lot of that took self-reflection, which is something that you don't like think about dead on, right? Like, it's kind of like when Lawrence speaks about something often, like grieving people that are still alive. He went through this in a very nasty way a couple years ago, just now recovering. Shout out to, never mind. But it takes a lot of like self-reflection. Like, I don't know if y'all ever understood like that part of grief where you're just like, why did this happen to me?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when your back's up against the wall, it's just like this nigga is walking the earth and won't even speak. Or we can't even communicate, that type of thing. So for me, that season took a lot of self-reflection. What did I do wrong? It took a lot of reflection with my mama too, because I told her, I'm like, mama. But a lot of self-reflection, because we be at fault sometimes, and we don't want to face that dead on. We do a lot of self-sabotage and don't want to face that dead on.
That's the part that sucks about it, because like we never want to really fold on something like, all right, like, yeah, I messed up on that. Like, nobody wants to do that. And that's the beauty of holding each other accountable. And that's what any relationship that you have. Like, this is not like just completely focused on your friend. If you're in a romantic relationship, like, I expect my wife to hold me accountable of things, and I'm sure she expects me to do the same. With your friends, it's no different. Like, hold your people accountable, but you also got to hold yourself accountable and, really take accountability for things, which nobody likes to do. Mm-hmm. It's the least fun thing to do. Mm-hmm. To really be able to, like, I was trash right there. And I know it sucks because I try to avoid doing it all the time. Nobody wants to do that. But that self-reflecting piece is probably the biggest part of it. But not even, it's not only the self-reflection part that's the bad part, mm-hmm. But then when you have to verbalize that or talk about it, like I could easily, take accountability within myself and be like, yeah, man, I probably was trash right there. But then now I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Now we talking about pride.
That part.
And pride is a mother. Yeah. And I'm full of it. I get it from my father. Shout out to him. Big law. That bald head nigga.
Hey.
I love my pops.
I love him too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do.
But anyway, but that pride piece is like, that's even worse because now you have to get over that to actually admit to somebody else that you're wrong, which nobody likes doing.
And being able to do that even when it's easier to walk away.
Facts. Because it's always easier to walk away. But I think, I want to be very clear about some things. Because we're about done. We're 55 minutes in. We're gonna stop. But
what you need, A flat?
Be very clear.
A flat.
All relationships aren't meant to be mended. Some of them joints you need to walk away from. Lysa.
Shut up.
I mean,
you said A flat, right?
Sad. Some relationships you just need to walk away from. They're all are, joints that need to be reconciled. So we're not trying to say you need to fix every joint. No, some of them joints, like, just move on. What are you doing?
Thought you needed A flat.
Stop!
I can't. My fingers too big to do
It's
that.
not even an organ. You get the organ joint.
Okay, let me see.
Anyway, some of them joints just get rid of, but
I got paid for that.
Taking accountability.
Holding
each other accountable. I'm gonna edit. Holding each other accountable. Holding yourself accountable. And then admitting when you're wrong. Like, that's literally recovery 101.
Straight up, man.
Right? But also acknowledging, or not acknowledging, what's the word I'm looking for? Being able to recognize what relationships is okay to walk away from.
Man.
And that's even bigger because a lot of people are just stuck in friend relationships or platonic relationships that they should have thrown away a long time ago.
Shut up.
It's not mutually beneficial. You're not getting anything. It's all, or you're not getting anything. People are just taking from you emotionally, even, I don't know, monetary. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I feel like anytime in a situation where you're putting in more than what you're getting out of, not saying that, some people are just naturally good people. Some people just, put in, not saying that people put in just to get something out of it. Some people are just legit good people. Mm-hmm. And I always say that be good to people.
Facts.
But at a certain point, if you're pouring in more than what you can't pour out on empty. I believe that any type of relationship should edify you as much as you know what I'm saying? Or give back to you as much as you're putting in.
Facts.
And if you find out, in those situations that you're pouring out more than you're getting, then you're getting back. You need to reevaluate those.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. And I think that we get so wrapped into, what's familiar, used to people being in certain places, even though they're not necessarily helping that. But we want them there because it's what's familiar. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's that very familiar thing that's hindering us from breaking into our next moment, our next level, or just moving forward in any aspect of life. And so I challenge everybody, to take a look at at the relationships that you have, your friendships. Rescan them.
Facts.
From the root. What basis was this friendship built on? Is this person adding to my life as much as I'm pouring into? Am I adding to this person's life as much as they're giving me? We don't consider that part either. Because sometimes we may be cancerous to another person, and because it's benefiting us so much, we don't want to let them go. Love your people enough to let them go. Have enough discernment to see when you just exhausted every aspect of a friendship, or, when it's done its job.
Yeah.
That's a different level of maturity, man. That's something special. That's something different. So,
That's crazy. 60 minutes in, bro.
60 minutes in.
We're gonna cut it out.
Yeah.
And maybe we can even do another part
two.
of this too, but even with some other people.
Yeah.
And I think that will be dope. We're getting out of here. Yo, what we doing? What you wearing, bro?
Oh man.
Oh man.
I finally
This ain't new.
Man, this really isn't. This looks like the first episode, only a little bit different, and maybe a couple after. I finally found my Gray Creative hoodie. It only took me a month. Shout out to Curtis McCartry, Creative Clothing 773.
My dog.
We love you, man. Hopefully I can get my camouflage piece. If not, I'm gonna just buy the peach one. Check out that website. I hope y'all checking out these people on these merch alerts. Support these black owned. Go to hell. Support these black owned businesses.
Oh, I just love that.
Please go to hell. I'm gonna move that thing over
I'm
here.
talking about the black owned businesses.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Please support the black owned businesses, the locals. Okay. What you wearing, stupid?
Art over clout. Shout out to Ami, man. Art over clout. I love this shirt. I just got it yesterday, and the fit is amazing, bro.
He keeps talking about the fit. What you put in these shirts, Ami? I need to talk to your retail.
Crack. No, shout out to Ami, man. All her information is up.
We're gonna put it up at the end of the episode.
For sure. Buy these people's stuff.
Buy it.
That's what we do the merch alerts for, obviously.
We want to put our people on.
These beautiful black people.
Yeah, for real.
For sure. Yep. We're getting up out of here. We're done?
We are. I think we are. This is definitely gonna be a part 2 to this joint. And again, episode 6. I'm Lysa. This is Sue Ellen. Baldy Sue Ellen.
My name is Law, guys.
Welcome to the Backroom Speaks podcast. Again, the brave space for creatives.
Cause find me another one.
You can talk about it.
West Side.
In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can talk about it.